Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Friends Podcast, man. Thank you so much for joining us. And if
Yes,
it's your first
sir.
time, thank you for coming through because we appreciate all the listeners, new and old, man. Let's get into it. My name is Matt. I'm here with my co-host.
My name is Rod, and this is the Friends Podcast. Make sure you check us out. We're streaming everywhere: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our socials: YouTube Shorts, TikTok, at the Friends Pod.
Yes, sir. Check us out everywhere we are. So usually me and Rod will do solo episodes where we chop it up, talk about any topics that we usually want to talk about. But today we have a very special guest in the building. So go ahead and
Yeah,
introduce
we
yourself.
do.
Hey, I'm Sukari with Do It Detroit. I'm glad to be on today.
Absolutely, yeah.
Hell
So we're gonna
yeah.
talk about everything Do It Detroit related, maybe even get into a little background about Sukari, but let's kind of talk about how we usually get into it. So how was everybody's week so far? Let's start with you, Rod.
My week's been pretty bad. I'm getting over a cold, probably
Oh
COVID.
no. Oh,
So my voice and my chest may sound like a little messed up this week for the listeners. Um, yeah. Also, I noticed a shooting this week. It was super wild. Um, Heard a lot of screaming and people yelling.
what?
Yeah, I think it was someone maybe a couple buildings down from my apartment, but there was a lot of cops. There were stretchers out, a lot of yelling for help, and I'm surprised, especially in my neighborhood, because that's the kind of stuff normally doesn't happen a lot. But
What time of day was this?
uh, let me see, what was I doing? So I was probably watching the game. So it was probably about like 9 o'clock.
Okay. That's peak shooting hours. Okay, I understand. That's
What?
crazy. That's crazy though. Like that you
That's
experienced that.
horrible.
Yeah, it
I
really is
know.
though.
What do y'all do when y'all hear like gunshots, or have you ever heard gunshots?
What do we do? I
Yeah,
mean,
like what do you do?
Um,
duck.
I'll duck. Yeah,
Just get
Like
down? Okay.
that's simple.
just
Like what
yeah.
else you gonna do?
Get
Duck
below
and
the
All right.
windows.
hmm
Yeah, that's what I did. I just laid down for a second and wait for like all the yelling to
Hmm.
stop.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all you could do. So Sukari, tell us about what's been going on with you this past 7 days, this past week. What's been going
The
on?
past 7 days, well, it's been spring break for me. I'm in school, and we haven't had any classes, so been just taking it easy. Working on Do It Detroit, doing some taxes. I got a tax business too. So, and every week I have game night on Wednesdays. So that be lit.
Okay, that's dope. So what? Let me ask you, what are you going to school for?
Architectural engineering.
Okay, that's pretty dope. That sounds like that's a lot though. Like that's a lot of work.
It is a lot.
Yeah, it
I
definitely
didn't
sounds.
realize it
Oh
when
yeah.
I got into it, but after doing research and reading reviews and listening to people's testimonies, they're like, yeah, you're going to be studying most of your life. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool, great.
I mean, I guess we should be lifelong learners, anyway. But so, like, how do you balance
True.
that? Because doing that, of course, you got your personal life. Of course, you got to do with Detroit. Like, is that hard to
Hmm.
balance everything?
You
Um,
said personal life.
you don't really focus on your personal life like that.
My personal life is my businesses, and yeah. So, how do I balance it? I have a very dynamic personality. I think I got ADD too because I cannot stay focused on one thing. So I do everything simultaneously. Like right now, I got three different Chrome tabs up for each of my ventures. So one for Do It Detroit, one for $1 Million Tax, and one for school. So I just keep them up throughout life. And
Is that hard though? Like, I feel like that's a lot to just like. So you're a multitasker.
yes, at first it was difficult because I've never done so much at once, but I'm getting the hang of it now, and the anxiety is moving away from me when it comes to doing events because that's where I have the most anxiety is bringing people together. But I'm getting used to it. Doing this weekly event is really like strengthening me.
So let's take it all the way back to the beginning. So talk about, Sukari, growing up and
Oh,
stuff. So
the
you from
way back.
Detroit all the way back.
Yes. Yeah, I'm from the west side of Detroit. I went to Academy of Oak Park, Academy of Detroit, uh, Michigan Automotive Academy, and then I went to Bobby Junior High.
Okay.
And then I moved to Belleville for high school. So that's my schooling history. Um, I actually didn't really have many friends growing up. I was pretty. I'm the only child, raised as the only child, but I have four brothers, four half brothers. But I didn't really talk much. I didn't really have many friends. I didn't date. I didn't do any of those things until senior year of high school. And I don't know what happened. I think I became friends with this popular guy, and I was like, oh, people like me.
Yeah, that's
So I
usually how it
decided,
happened.
yeah, yeah. I decided to expand on, myself and learn myself and do what I wanted to do.
So what did you do during your free time then at that time? Do you
I
do like
played
extracurricular things or
with the Barbies.
Yeah.
okay?
In high school, I was in track and field. I used to throw shot put. Um, I was in choir, so I used to like practice music and review music. I've been writing poetry since I was 12. Um,
Have you ever like performed your poetry on, like a slam poetry, like one of those types of things?
Slam? No, I wouldn't say slam, but I have read my poetry from my phone in a shy way in front of people.
Okay. Now, is that something you want to get into, or do you still write poetry, or is that something that you feel like,
Yeah.
just something to do?
I think I'm a poet by communication, period, because the way that I express myself is through poetry. So everything that I say, mostly everything that I say is poetic. Um, but no, that isn't something that I want to get into. I actually do want to write a book, though, a poetry book. So that's what I'm working on now.
Oh yeah, that'd be super dope.
Can you speak a little bit more on the poetry? Um, what type of poetry is it?
Well, I write whenever I feel intensely emotional. So that could be uh,
So it's sad poems.
sad and erotic.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the two the
Okay.
two extremes.
Yeah, two totally different vibes for sure.
Yeah.
Let's keep
Yeah.
it all the way back, before Do It Detroit. So like where you kind of talked about, you weren't really, the most social person back then, but were you going to events in Detroit back then? And if you were, like what was the vibe back then? Did you see a need for something like Do It Detroit back then?
Well, my mom, I have a really big family. My grandmother has 21 siblings. So we're very close and we have
Ooh.
a bunch of family. I know. We have a bunch of family events every year, like probably three events that we do all together. And
The cookout for real.
yeah, and my mom has been putting together events for the family, like baby showers, and she would help plan the family reunions or a picnic. So I have been doing events with her since I was a kid. So I love the idea of bringing people together and having them experience something that I envision. So that's where the event thing came in. I never really went to public events. I will only just do them for my family.
So what was your first event that you helped plan when you was young with your mom? What type of event was that?
Fully like finding the venue, finding the tables and decorating and everything was my cousin's baby shower. She is 17 now. She's gonna be 17 in July. So I'm about to be 30, so I was 11. It was so fun. We designed the invitations, like printed them off and cut like holes in the invitation and put a ribbon in it. We got a rocking chair. We got tables and centerpieces, and it was just such a really dope experience. and then to see so many people come together, and it was beautiful. It was just beautiful.
Now, would you say like that first experience for you? Do you feel like that is when you got that bug where it's like, oh yeah, I feel like this is something that I want to keep doing, or did it kind of take some time for you to get to that point where you jumped into it?
I never really thought about it. I never, but now that I'm thinking about it, I maybe a inkling or some type of subconscious thing was going on to where I was like, okay, this is fun and I may want to do this in the future. But the first bug that I got that made me want to do events was a Naturally Fly event by Etta Fly. I think it was I Rock Dope Hair, and it was at Artist Village. I think it was back in 2016, 2017. And I was like, oh my goodness. It was my first time at Artist Village. I was like, this is beautiful. I love this. I just had a beautiful experience. It was vendors, it was people doing hair, it was fashion, like natural hair fashion. And yeah, so that's what sparked my interest in wanting to do events.
Okay, super dope. Now let's talk about like just the beginnings of Do It Detroit. Tell us about the origin and like putting it together for the very first time. I'm sure it was hella stressful because you were like, damn, people got to come, and then I don't know if you
I
had
imagine
drinks
there's a
there.
team as well. It's
Oh
not
yeah,
just yourself doing it.
That's a beautiful imagination. It's just me.
Oh wow.
wow, that's super
It's
dope.
just me. Yeah. But in the beginning, so in 2018, I got into a car accident, and I think I was concussed because I hit my head on the steering wheel twice. I didn't fully black out, but afterward, I was severely depressed,
Man.
and it was a, huh?
No, I was
Oh,
just saying, man, like sorry to hear that.
oh yeah. It's
Yeah.
okay. I'm not sorry, so it's all right.
Yeah,
But
you came back stronger.
yes, absolutely. That's one of my traits is going through adversity and coming back stronger than ever. Um, but so yeah, I had depression, and it was a weird depression because I didn't nothing was triggering it. I would just wake up and just cry. And I was like, I don't know what's happening. I wasn't thinking about anything to make me feel this way. It was just, I guess, a brain chemical reaction. So they tried to pump me with drugs and opioids for the pain, but I didn't do that. So
Yeah, did you break any bones or anything? Like what happened
no,
after the accident? Oh, you were fine?
no, I didn't. Yeah, I mean, I went to the ambulance and I had well, I do have. I'm not gonna claim that. They say that there are some herniated discs in my back. So in the past and sometimes in the current now, I have back pain, but it's not severe. It doesn't stop me from doing anything, and I'm good. Uh, I was driving like 65 miles per hour, and I hit a car that ran a stop sign, and I hit a pole. So it was immediate force, back to back collisions. But yes, they were trying to pump me with opioids and pain medicine, and I was like, no, I'm not. I've never been a medicine person. I don't like taking pills. I don't like doing any of that. So I decided to study herbalism, and I started taking herbs and drinking teas, and that helped me with my depression. Like it instantly helped. I took Damiana and Ginkgo biloba for anybody who, is interested in working with depression and anxiety, and it instantly worked. So,
Where did you learn about that kind of stuff? Did someone show that to you, or did you
Dr.
go on your own
Sebi,
journey? Dr. Sebi. Okay.
Dr. Sebi, yep. It's funny because I used to go to this place that I won't name on Woodward. It was like a
Yep,
herbal
yep, yep.
store.
hmm I know
Yeah,
exactly what you
and
talk about.
And somebody gave me a pamphlet, pamphlet. How do you say it? Somebody gave
Yeah.
me a sheet of paper that said it was a Dr. Sebi sell food list, and I never read it in my life. It was just sitting on my dresser for years, and I would just come home and look at it as if it didn't exist. But for some reason, when this happened, the universe was like, pick that up and read it. And it started talking about herbs. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is beautiful. So then I started studying herbalism and how herbs can help you. And I think that was the same year that happened, was the same year that Dr. Sebi passed. So then I was really amped, like, wow, why am I getting into this? And he passed as a sign. So, um, yeah, that's my herbalism journey. I still drink herbs daily.
Yeah, what's the routine like? Because I heard Dr. Sebi's teachings, it cured pretty much any disease or any illness that you had going on. What his
Yes,
teachings taught, right?
yes. Through herbal healing, you can cure all diseases, and he has cured plenty of them, like AIDS and cancer and herpes. He's known for those. But it's a extensive process. You have to flush your body of all of the toxins and worms, and then replenish it with living, healing foods, because you know you are they the saying that you are what you eat is very true. So if you eat live food, then you will be more alive. If you eat dead food, you'll be more unalive. So
Most definitely.
I have right now, I have like 15 different herbs that I just pick whenever I feel like feeling some type of way, one way or the other. Um, I don't really have a routine. I haven't been committed to it lately, honestly, but it's still like whenever I'm feeling sad or anything, I like let me just drink some tea, and it'll make me feel better. So
No, I feel you. I feel you on that. Now let me ask you this though. So like if one was to get into that and be like, you know what, let me get on, figure out the herbs and all these different types of things to take for the ailments that I have. Is this something that is expensive? Like, do you feel like it might be more like because people could take supplements, they could take vitamins, but is herbs taking that route, is it expensive or is it relatively cheap, do you think?
well, it depends on if you wholesale or if you go to somebody who sells them by the ounce, because I buy my herbs by the pound off of a website. What is it called? Star West Botanicals. Um, so it's not expensive. No, it's not expensive at all. I bought 12 pounds, what, like 2 years ago, and I still have it. And the total of those 12 pounds is probably $200. So
Okay, that's not bad.
it
Not a bad
wasn't.
investment.
Yeah, yeah, it's not expensive at all. It's actually way cheaper than pharmaceuticals. So I absolutely suggest that over taking medicine anyway, because honestly, herbs are the natural form of medicine. Like medicine is synthetic. Anything that herbs can do, um, the doctors or chemists tried to find a way that they could replicate it in a medicine form. So I always suggest herbs before medicine anyway. Um, yeah. Oh, but yeah, going back to the accident and how it sparked the Detroit.
Hmm.
So in 2018, I met a friend, and she would come. I live in Belleville still, so she would come and get me from out here and take me to these events at this creative loft house. And that whole summer. It was like we were a family. We would go there every Tuesday or Thursday, and we would fellowship and we would discuss things. It was this show that they had called the Detroit Thought, and it was just really dope. We would talk about random topics all together on this couch, and they were recorded and posted on social media. But we would also, like, drink and indulge in other extracurricular activities,
Yeah.
and it was just really fun. And I was like, "This is beautiful." So that helped pull me out of my depressive state as well, and I became privy to all these underground events that nobody, but that most people didn't know about, because I started off in the artist community as a poet. And these are artists, like musical events. So I was like, people need to know about this. So every time I would see an event, I would post it on my story, on my personal Instagram story, and I would caption it with the hashtag do shit, because I want people to get out, because this helped cure my depressive state. So in my mind, this can help cure other people's depressive state, is by being around people that they feel they can connect with.
When
And
did you start liking hanging around people? Because you said back in your old days you didn't really hang out with no one like that.
oh, in college, I went to Central Michigan University, and yes,
Let me ask you this though, because something that you said sparked my brain. Some people say that like is some people like to spend time alone and just kind of not have a community behind them at
hmm
all. Do you feel like community is like 100% essential? Like, can somebody just be a lone wolf and go through life like that, or do you feel like they need somebody to bounce off of and somebody to be friends with, to get love from? Like, how do you feel about that?
I think, not I think, I know we all need people. There may be a one off where somebody has a social thing going on to where they don't need people or can't be around people for a certain amount of time. But, we truly need community to thrive, um, mentally, psychologically, physically, like with everything that we do, we need people. So I absolutely believe that we need each other and we need a community. But I think what discourages people and what makes people feel like they are lone wolves and don't want to be around people is the quality of people that they have surrounded themselves with in the past and in the present. So, it's all about finding your tribe. Like, we need each other, but you don't need them sorry people that didn't do you justice in your life. You don't need them, but we do need people.
I definitely agree with that. Now, so you were at these events and you were posting stuff on Instagram, just saying like do shit. You was at this event, you were saying
Yes.
hashtag do shit.
Yes.
And then so yeah, keep going from that point. So what happened after that?
Okay. So my an acquaintance of mine was like, "Hey, you should make an Instagram with these events." And I was like, "No, I'm just posting it so people could see it." But I was getting so much attention and views on my stories. So after like, the fourth person was like, "Hey, you should make an Instagram." I was like, "Okay, well, let me make an Instagram." So the first Instagram that I created was Do Shit Detroit. And then um I wanted to post this church flyer. And I was like,
I
well,
don't know about that.
right. I was like, I don't know if I want to market this as do shit. Like, I don't want them to do this shit. Like, is that not the shit I want them to do?
Yeah.
Um, so I changed it to Do It Detroit.
Uh,
Um, yeah, so that's how Do It Detroit began. It started off on Instagram. Um, then I started to get a lot of traction. I got like 1,000 followers in a couple weeks or something. And I was like, okay, people, this is a need in the community. This was back in, like I said, 2018. I was like, okay, all right. So then I was like, let me start a business. I got my LLC, got my website. I mean, not my website, but created a Gmail address. And then because I was going to these events and I was meeting people, and I was like, okay, well, now I want to be a community resource liaison for people that wanted to do their own events, because I'm meeting all these people and getting these resources. I want to do something with it. So I have a list of people that I still have this list. Every time I would meet somebody who's creative or I know could be beautiful, have a beautiful display in an event, I would get their information. And um by me gathering these resources, I said, well, let me do my own events. Like, why don't I just, I got this and I have experience doing events and I know what it takes. So I also have been a brand ambassador for 8 years for multiple different promotional agencies and like 100 different brands. So I have
oh
marketing
wow.
experience. So I'm like, okay, I can market this, I can find the venue, I can do this. So where did I go to? Artist Village. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I was just here a couple years ago and I want to do my event here. I really need to do it here. And she was like, okay, this is what it is. This is what it takes. and I booked it. It was February, like middle of February 2019, and my event was April 19th, 2019. And I was like, okay, it's time to rev it up. So I started promoting super heavy, send it to everybody I knew ever, send it to all my followers. And that was the Art of Nostalgia. That was my first event.
The art of nostalgia. Talk about that. Like, what was that? Like, just music, playing music, just people drinking, having fun. Like, what was it?
Okay, so the Millennium Tour was beginning that year.
Ah,
But when I
Yeah,
when
that's
I booked
Bow
the
Wow,
venue,
right? That's Bow Wow,
yeah, it
Omarion.
was Bow Wow, Marianne, B2, yeah, B2K,
Okay, throwback.
IMX, yeah.
That's what's
IMX. Where they
up.
find them at? That's crazy.
Oh, Marcus Houston. Um, but so they weren't coming to Detroit in February. I was like, what? This is some BS. I can't believe they're not coming here. Well, I'm gonna create my own event and name it the Art of Nostalgia. But then they released a Detroit date. And I was like, okay. So that's how I came up with the date because it was the day before the Millennium Tour.
Ah, okay.
April 19th. Yeah. So I was like, well, just since we're in the mood of feeling nostalgic, let me rev this up and create this experience for people who are going to the Millennium Tour and others who love nostalgia like myself. So, no, it wasn't just people performing and listening to music. That is one thing that I, when I do curate my own events, I am, what is the word I want to use? I do not do anything like that. Everything that I do inspires communication, provokes communication. Like every event that I have, you have to communicate with other people to be at the event. So, it was fashion, arts, music, and games, all from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. So I had a GameCube, a PlayStation, Bop It, Pickup Sticks. It
Yeah.
was just a bunch of different games from that time. And then I had people live painting things that made them feel nostalgic. And I was supposed to, but it ended up raining. But I planned to do like a jump roping contest, a spades contest, a hula hooping contest, um, a best dress competition, a raffle. It was so many things. There was so many things that were involved with that event.
I was like, so do people come to you and say, "Hey, we want to do this event," or
Yes,
okay, that's what happens. And what is the
yes.
process? That process like?
Well, I help them formulate a plan, create a vision. I say, well, what is your purpose? What do you want to do? We come up with a name. We come up with acts and things that can happen at the event. And before I had my own venue space, I would go and find a venue, give them some options for venues, give them some options for music or vendors, and yeah, we would start it from there.
So do you ever? Is there ever a time where you say, "No, I don't think I want to help you with this event"? Is there any events that you don't want to do?
Yes, and that is maybe musical showcases. Probably, I would definitely allow one to be at the venue, but I wouldn't partner with somebody to do that because, like I said, all of my events pertain to communicating. So if they have an idea to, if it's creative enough to where the attendees are communicating, then I will agree to partner with them. But if not, then I'll probably just provide resources and let them do it on their own. Because I actually tried to do a concert
Oh, really?
and it didn't go well.
Okay, let's speak on that. So, what you mean by did go well? Like, people was late.
um
Um,
the guy who so somebody approached me and they said, hey, I want to do this concert, can you help me? I said yes. What is your idea? I have the perfect venue. It was
Hip
an
hop.
outdoor space. Yes, it was a rapper.
Okay.
It was a rapper. He wanted to do a concert. And I got the venue, had a meeting with the venue owner. He gave him a good price because I'm connected to the owner. I found vendors. I found, I helped found the person to create the flyer, and he was a East Side hood dude, so
Yeah.
he wasn't business.
Mm. So that's why he hired you.
Yes, yes. But then he tried to withhold information and be sneaky with the venue owner. And I was like, I don't do business like that. I'm not about to burn no bridges, or even if I don't do business like that. So I said, well, we are not going to work together. And it was a week before the event, and I pulled myself and the venue from his event. So yeah. I am selective. I am way more selective now with who I decide to work with.
That makes sense. I think that's fair though. Like you got to protect your own reputation, your own name. Like you can't put your name on there. It's some bullshit. So I get that.
Exactly, exactly. And
Yeah, it just seems like you run a lot of different types of events here. I'm
mhm.
thinking that I'm just looking at some of the ones recently. You
Yes.
got speed dating coming up. You got
Yes.
your sapiosexual. You got your
Uh-huh.
LGBTQAI plus
Uh-huh.
edition. Are you throwing all these events and yeah, talk a little bit more about how the dating scene and why you wanted to get involved with that.
Well, I'm single, and I think that, so what is it called? What is that? What is the platform?
Oh,
Dating
like
Dating
online?
Tinder and all
platform.
that.
Online dating.
Hmm.
Yeah, online dating
Mm-hmm.
is trash. Like, it's not a genuine connection. People rarely succeed, especially these days. So I was like, we let me get people in front of each other and actually have a conversation. Get off of the internet because it's not working. Um,
I mean, online dating work for certain things though. Like if you're just trying to, have relations, so to speak. Of course, that's easy. But if you really want to date somebody, yeah, you got to go get to know that person, right?
yes, yeah.
And so, is this relatively new for you? Is this like a speed dating thing, like relatively new, or is this something that you've been kind of working on and curating?
This will be my fourth speed dating. My first one was in 2020, and it was at 90's Knowledge Cafe in Highland Park. Um, I still do business with them, but yeah, it's always beautiful. As people come nervous and they're like, "Oh, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what I'm gonna say," but then they all leave excited and happy that they came. So I love that part about it.
Yeah. Have you ever seen these events and actually worked out for anyone?
Well, for each event, one couple like hit it off, like was talking throughout the rest of the night. And my last event, this couple actually left together. So yeah.
Riz.
That's what's up. Had you speed dated before you even did this before? Like, was that something that you did before you even jumped into the
No,
space? No.
no.
Why not though? Just never
I'm
came
ashamed to
across.
say it. No, I haven't seen it. I mean, before I started doing this in 2019, I have never seen a speed dating in Detroit. So, no, 2020 was when I had my first one. Um, so I wanted to provide it. I try to date when I'm doing the event, but I also have to run the event, so I don't have time to sit and talk, unfortunately.
Mm. You ain't got time. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm hiring a host for the next two ones, so maybe I'll have time.
Yeah, get out there. You gotta go find the one. But so yeah, so that's you got the speed dating. You also have a movie night as well. So a psychological thriller movie night coming up. Um,
Yes.
now picking the movies. What's that process like?
Picking me movies?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just looked up psychological thrillers
Okay.
and I really like Jordan Peele. Um, I actually think I'm gonna not do that one on the 19th because it's gonna be every third Sunday, I believe. So I'm gonna just push it back to April because I haven't been promoting or even focusing on that because I have the speed dating events and then I have Art Swingers on April 7th. And that's gonna be really big. I'm really excited about that one. Um, That's going to be like a painting with a twist. And the twist is something crazy that you've never seen. So you got to come and see what the twist is. But there will also be art vendors who will be trading their art with each other and other people who bring their art to trade with, a live DJ, and a mobile bar, um, live painters. Did I say that?
Yeah.
Really excited. Really excited about that one.
Oh, I was saying I got a question about the Jordan Peele movies. You say you really like those. Which one was his best one?
His best, I can't say. I
You know,
can't
got
say.
you got top two, top two,
I feel
top three.
like I feel like I'm betraying myself too because I love him so much. Like as a producer and creator, I can't even. Um, no, us of course, 'cause that was the first one. That was his debut. That was amazing. Um,
It
no,
was
Get
Get
Out. I'm
Out.
sorry, Get
Oh yeah,
Out.
Get
That's
Out
the
was
one I was
first.
referring to.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Us is really good. I listened to Tariq Nasheed on YouTube sometimes, and he broke it down in a different way that made me want to rewatch Us. But what else did he have? He just came out with one recently.
Yep. Nope. That was the one where the thing was in the sky.
Oh, Nope was so good,
He
and I
also
think
had
so.
Ma with Octavia Spencer.
That
That
was
was him.
his.
I didn't know that was him.
I'm pretty sure that was him.
I think
Nah.
maybe he
Yeah.
was like an executive producer,
Mm.
probably. He wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't a Jordan Peele presents.
Mm-mm. Yeah, it definitely
Okay.
wasn't.
Yeah, that movie was terrible.
That's why, cause he
No,
ain't work
no,
on it. He ain't work on it. That's why it was so bad. You
it
know.
wasn't a good one. But again, with the psychological thriller movie night, it's going to be followed by a discussion, and I created that so that I could have people, because when you go to a movie and it's a really good movie, people are always leaving talking to each other. So I was like, let me create a space where people can actually talk to each other in this one room and flesh out what they thought the movie was about, or what the thriller part or the surprise part was about, or and do my own research and host that space too.
Now I want to talk about this game night. So it seems like this is something that's like your staple. Every week you have this game night. Now
Yeah,
kind of get into that. So when you say games, do you mean video games, board games, card games, or is it all of the above?
board games and card games, board games and card games. Um, of course, that stemmed from the art of nostalgia because I had like 30 different games there,
Hmm.
and I just love the idea of people coming together and playing games. So it's a singles mixer as well, going back to the people talking to each other in a dating space, or well, with the hopes of or intent of dating. But
Hmm.
yeah, I love that. I love that. It's so fun. It's really fun. I laugh so hard that my face be hurting at the end of the night every
Now, but let me
time.
ask you this though. So like, I mean, sometimes the games, depending on what you play, if you're playing Uno, you playing spades. Shit can get a little, it can get a little testy in there. So, is that something that you experienced, or something that you had to calm down, like people really getting rowdy over, you know, over the books or whatever,
No,
draw fours and all that?
no. But I was playing spades on Wednesday with a partner, and I
Hmm.
reneged,
Oh
and
no.
I thought he was gonna cuss me out. I was looking at him all night, like, "You okay?"
Yeah.
He like, "I'm good. I'm good. We all make mistakes." I'm like, "All right,
That's a good partner right there, because yeah,
right,
you could have been banished.
okay." And I've done that to a whole cousin for reneging. I ain't talked to him for the rest of the trip.
For
We was
That's funny. That's funny. No, I'm gonna ask you. So let's. I kind of want you to pick, like, if you could play one board game and one card game for the rest of your life. Like, which ones would they be?
for the rest of my life. That sounds like torture.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
There's so many.
no, to like literally play it for the rest of my life. Like if I was on a deserted
Oh,
island.
like that. Yeah, that's torture.
Probably regular cards, playing cards for cards. Because it's so many games you could play with playing cards
Mm-hmm. That
and
is true.
tricks. And I like to shuffle.
Mm-hmm. You can do the waterfall and all that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay,
My
professional. I like it.
my aunt taught me when I was a kid. She is an avid casino goer, so we've always been playing cards. Um, in a board game. Mm,
Like you
I'm trying to.
a monopolier, you a
I
lifer.
instantly thought of Monopoly, but no, because I do not like capitalism. So I wouldn't want to think about that
Mm-hmm.
constantly. Probably Trouble. I like Trouble or um yeah, Sorry. I like Sorry too.
Trouble. I'm trying to. Which one was Trouble? Trouble
It
was
was
the
with
one.
It's a
the
little
I think it's a
bubble.
die. Yeah, you pop it and then you put the the pieces inside of the holes to get to the
Mm.
center or to the
Oh
end.
yeah. Yep, I remember that one. Okay,
Very
What
active.
for
what
sure.
about Yahtzee? No, anyone ever play that?
I just bought it for the game night and I never played it though. What is
Yahtzee
it?
was it.
I don't even know what that is, to be honest. That's what.
Nah, you ain't
Explain
never
it to
play
us.
Yahtzee?
Break it down.
It's a board game.
Okay.
Okay. I get it. I totally get it now.
Yeah, you roll the dice and it's you just add up points and then you try to get to a certain
Mm.
number of points with your team.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I
Oh.
remember. So
Okay.
Oh, it's teams?
I thought so. I thought I
Interesting.
remember. I don't know. I haven't played in a while, but I know it was a group of people and there's a piece of
Mm-hmm.
paper. You got to shake it up and you rolling dice and you consistently adding it up, trying to get to a certain number.
You know what I feel like is underrated? Like I fuck with Scrabble.
You
Like
don't know words like that.
Scrabble.
I be knowing words sometimes. Like Scrabble. Like I'm trying to use all the Q's, all the Z's, like
All the
anything.
Z's, all the double words, all the triple letters.
Mm-hmm.
Now you know what? I think I take back everything I just said and we'll replace it with Scrabble because I love words. I play Wordle on New
Oh
York
yeah.
Times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I played a little word game on the iPhone and be beating everybody. They be mad.
Do you like crossword puzzles and all that type of shit?
No.
Oh, so you're not that deep into it. Okay.
I just like moving letters around to create words.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out anagrams and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Now, so let's kind of talk about the future. Like, you got so many things going on right now with
Ooh.
Detroit. Do you look into the
Hmm.
future too far and be like, in 5 years, I want to take it here. I want to have one on the 50-yard line at the stadium or something like that. Or kind of how do you feel about planning for the future?
Well, I do plan for the future. I have been doing that as of late because when I first started doing Detroit, I was like, I don't care. I don't have to make no money. I just want to provide these experiences for people now and but I do want longevity for this business. So I have been looking into and planning for what I'm going to do in the future. For the now, I am renting a venue space. I have a 6-month residency, which may be extended. I'm not sure, but I am doing all my events at this one venue space, which is called Simply Social in Hamtramck off of Conant.
Yeah, right next to the Foreman.
3901 Christopher. Yeah, right next to Folding. It shares the same wall
Okay,
as the
okay.
Folding Warehouse. And yeah, I'm really excited about this. It has me amped up because before I think I was afraid of failure. So I never would do anything that would help me extremely succeed because for my first event, going back to talking about that, it was like 200 people showed up. I was in the news. It was a huge deal. And
Yeah.
I think it scared me.
Ah.
Because I was like, oh my goodness, this is so big. And then I just like thought that that was it. But I really should have just kept going. And, you know, but, we live and we learn. So I'm building up my presence again so that I can have those turnouts. Um, but after this
Definitely
residency,
will.
if I decide to continue, thank you. If I decide to continue it or not, I do want to have my own space and be, a huge presence in the city for creatives. My mission statement slash elevator pitch is that I am curating. Um, how how I forget the elevator pitch?
Uh-oh. I mean, we're not Shark
I've
Tank.
been
It's all good.
I've been saying it so much, but my purpose is to provide a sense of belonging for creatives through community events.
Mm, I like that.
So thank you. So that's mine.
And the last thing I want to ask you,
Hmm.
I'm kind of, because you mentioned that right now you have your own space that you can work out of and you can have events at, like you
Hmm.
have a residency. And I don't want to necessarily get too into your business and all that type of stuff, but I just want to I kind of want to know about that process. Like, was that something hard to try to convince them of, or was it like a lot of hoops that you had to go through?
I had did speed dating in late like November of last year, and that was the last event that I had did in like a year. But my presence was still on Instagram pretty common, and the owners of the space reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to rent the space.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, they were like, "Hey, are you interested in renting the venue space?" I was like, "Yes." Then they showed me one space that they had, but it was too small, no parking, and I was like, "No, I'm not interested." They're like, "Oh, we actually have this bigger space, so we have a whole parking lot," and I was like, "Oh, okay, well, let me go see that." I saw it, I loved it, and then they told me what they were trying to sell it. So they said we may have a buyer. So we'll let you know. I think they wanted to go through with that buyer, but it didn't fall through. So months later, they reached out to me and said, "Hey, we love your energy. We think this partnership will be beautiful. Are you still interested in renting the space?" I said yes. I can start in 2 months, and I started February 2nd, so I'm a month in, and that's how it started.
Oh, so that's
It's
very
great.
recent.
Yes,
Okay. Okay. So the sky's the limit at this point. Like hey,
yeah. This
Yes,
summer
ma'am.
about to go up for sure.
you already know. But yeah, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like, I was glad to learn about Do It Detroit today. I guess any last words before we get out of here?
Thank you for having me on. I am very excited for what is to come. Um,
Absolutely.
I want everybody to hit me up for renting the venue space or if any ideas that they have of collaborations. I'm all for it. Um, Come
Indeed.
out to game night every Wednesday, speed dating, art swingers, and I have this other event. It's an erotic event. Um, but that's more exclusive. It's nothing like really, really rated R, but
Yeah. Okay.
it's just a display of erotic
Need to
art
know.
because everything. Yeah, yeah. Just yeah. Yep.
Okay. Okay, super dope. But yeah, y'all be on the lookout for everything, Do It Detroit related. We're gonna post the links for Do It Detroit, the website, the Instagram, so you can check out Sukari's
Yep,
Do
yep,
It
yep.
Detroit. But other
Thank
than
you
that,
so much.
yeah, we appreciate you for coming on, Sukari. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, other than that, we about to get up out of here. This has been the Friends Podcast, and we out. Peace out.
Peace.
Peace.